Body horror is all about messing with your head and your stomach. These movies dive right into our worst fears about our bodies falling apart, mutating, or turning against us. They're creepy, weird, and yeah, they're kinda gross, but that's what makes them so good. Whether it's freaky transformations, nightmare surgeries, or straight up decay, body horror reminds us that under all the gloss, we're just walking meat suits. Fun, right? These films can be wild and crazy or deep and thought-provoking, sometimes both. So let's dive into 15 body horror movies that'll make your jaw drop, your skin crawl, and maybe even your dinner come back up. Before we get into our explanation though, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to the channel. It's a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The Thing, 1982. John Carpenter's The Thing must be acknowledged as one of the peak movies that blends suspenseful storytelling with body horror. It's about a group of American researchers in Antarctica being stalked by an alien creature capable of assimilating and imitating other organisms, even human beings. Their descent into paranoia and conflicts gradually arises when they realize that anyone among them could be the monster. Kurt Russell stars as R.J. McCready, the helicopter pilot of the team in the movie, followed by A. Wilford Brimley as the senior biologist, T.K. Carter as the cook, Keith McDavid as the chief mechanic, Richard Dysart as the physician, Charles Hallahan as the geologist, Donald Moffat as the station commander, and Thomas G. Waits as the radio operator in support roles. Rob Bottin, just 22 at the time, brought the practical effects to life. With his large crew, he devised an alien capable of taking on any form using a mixture of chemicals, food products, rubber, and mechanical components. Practical effects here were used with a budget of $1.5 million. Despite initial negative reviews, The Thing has grown into a cult classic with a large following and is lauded among the best sci-fi and horror movies of all time. Its influence can be seen seamlessly blending body horror with suspenseful filmmaking, creating a visceral and captivating experience. Interestingly, The Thing has become a midwinter tradition in British Antarctic research stations where it's screened every year on June 21st. It remains the benchmark in body horror to this day due to its unique setting, tightly woven pace, and incredible visual. The Fly, 1986. David Cronenberg's The Fly is a body horror classic, living up to all the hype surrounding its mention among the finest in the genre. In this remake of the 1958 film, we encounter the eccentric scientist Seth Brundle, portrayed by Jeff Goldblum, who is slowly becoming a human-fly hybrid after a failed experiment. We also have Gina Davis as Ronnie Quaife, a science journalist in the movie who's Seth Brundle's love interest. The film features brilliant makeup effects by Chris Wallace and Stephen Dupuis, which earned them an Academy Award for Best Makeup. The Fly was a commercial success, raising $60.6 million. It was a well-crafted commentary on Cronenberg's ability to meld mainstream appeal with his trademark brand of body horror. One particularly great fact is that Gina Davis said she was really grossed out by the scene where Seth's ear falls off. The moment she held herself up to Goldblum, she wasn't acting, she was actually horrified. The Fly is considered a cult classic, with references and parodies popping up all over the place in pop culture, even today. The tagline, "Be afraid, be very afraid," has become so catchy that people use it even today for various reasons. The Fly remains a lucid watch even today, peppered with alien technology, terrors, and the body horror that cinephiles tend to revel in. Following Gina Davis's suggestion, David Cronenberg, the director, also appeared in the movie as a gynecologist. Human Centipede, 2009. The plot of the 2009 Dutch body horror film The Human Centipede revolves around a deranged German surgeon, Dr. Joseph Heider, who kidnaps 3 tourists and sews them together mouth to anus to form a grotesque human centipede. Tom Six is the writer and director. The film focuses on themes of sadism, torture, and uncertainty of moral borders. Dieter Laser stars as Joseph Heider, whereas Ashley C. Williams, Ashlyn Yenny, and Akihiro Kitamura are Heider's victims. In the movie, Heider is a retired, world-renowned expert on the surgical separation of Siamese twins, but he dreams of reconnecting human forms to create new organisms. He dreams of sewing the mouths of his 3 victims to their anuses so that they will share a single digestive system. It's kind of funny that the concept of this movie started as a joke about punishing a child molester among director Tom and his friends. The movie also drew some elements from Nazi medical experiments during World War II. Since Tom anticipated it would turn off the investors, he didn't tell them the movie's premise when raising funds. The full nature of the film was only disclosed once it was completed. The London Fright Fest Film Festival housed the Human Centipede's inaugural exhibition in 2009, followed later by limited screenings in the US for a couple of years. Although the film received mixed reviews, it's managed to snag a few international film festival awards along the way, establishing itself as one of the most disgusting and disturbing body horror films of all time, evoking comparisons to the likes of David Cronenberg.
We want the man who did this.
Hellraiser, 1987. Hellraiser is a supernatural horror film that was Clive Barker's debut as a director in 1987. It's based on his novella, The Hellbound Heart. The movie follows Christie's father, Larry, and her stepmother, Julia, who move into Larry's childhood home. But wait a minute, the house is already occupied. Larry's mean brother, Frank, has already summoned a gang of supernatural demons. It happened because of a mysterious puzzle box that opened the gate to the Cenobites, a group of sadomasochistic beings from different dimensions who can't distinguish between the lines of pleasure and pain. The film features Andrew Robinson, Claire Higgins, Ashley Lawrence, and Doug Bradley as the well-known Pinhead, the leader of the Cenobites. Barker took part in the project to ensure it was true to his work. With the backing of producer Christopher Figg and New World Pictures, filming started in 1986 in London. Hellraiser's inaugural screening at Prince Charles Cinema in 1987 was a box office success, garnering a gross of $30 million from a mere budget of $1 million. Critically, however, Hellraiser found itself bombarded with mixed reviews. It has since been reappraised as a horror classic. Critics accepted the atmosphere of dread the film generated, the marvelous set pieces, and Barker's direction. Melody Maker actually called it Britain's most memorable horror achievement. The reason why Hellraiser is on the list is because of the supernatural Cenobites and Pinhead. The movie has quite unflinchingly showcased their mutilated bodies, often modified with piercings, scars, slits, and other forms of self-inflicted violence, which stand out even in the body horror genre. Tusk, 2014. Kevin Smith's 2014 film Tusk challenges expectations. It's a body horror based on a story told through his podcast. The film revolves around an egocentric podcaster, Wallace Brighton, who's traveling to Canada for an interview with the Kill Bill Kid. Instead, it falls into the hands of a crazy retired sailor, Howard, who has a sick fixation on a walrus called Mr. Tusk. Howard drugs Wallace and performs a grotesque surgical procedure, turning Wallace into a walrus-human hybrid. It premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival in 2014 and has received a mixed critical response. Praised for its mood and production values, but often denounced for its uneven tone. Departing from his usual comedy, Tusk is a surprisingly chilling horror film that shows Smith's ability to weave a disturbing and provocative narrative. Please don't make the mistake of thinking this movie is a horror comedy. It's simply frightening horror with bodies dismembered and disfigured. The main character's name, Wallace, even sounds like the word walrus. Interestingly, the director Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley Quinn, and Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose, play the two unhelpful clerks in the convenience store. The year 1994 saw the release of Clerks, a film that launched Kevin Smith's career as a director and writer. It's all about unhelpful convenience store clerks, although there's much less mutilation in that one. Teeth, 2007. Teeth is a 2007 horror film by Mitchell Lichtenstein, developed around the line of Dawn, a teenage girl who was born into a Christian abstinence group called The Promise. Her life is turned upside down when she discovers her vagina has teeth, a condition known as vagina dentata. As Dawn navigates her newfound identity, her vagina dentata becomes a means of protection against abusers and a way to experience consensual sex. The film cleverly subverts the traditional horror trope of the female virgin used as the final sacrifice, rather than using Dawn's condition as a source of empowerment and self-discovery. More than a decade after its creation, Teeth still constitutes a fresh body horror movie exception, credited with its feministic spin on horror tropes. The film also won critical acclaim with an 80% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Jess Wexler, who played the leading character Dawn, won a special jury prize during a dramatic performance at the 2007 Sundance Film Festival for her portrayal. Some men would probably be traumatized by just the thought of what happens to the people in this film happening to them. The movie is worth watching for all horror fans of either gender, though men may find their knees locking together as the story unfolds.
To Videodrome. Long live the new flesh.
Videodrome, 1983. David Cronenberg's 1983 sci-fi body horror film, Videodrome, unfolds in 1980s Toronto, centering on the CEO of a small television station portrayed by James Woods. The narrative takes a sinister turn when he stumbles upon an enigmatic broadcast signal that showcases disturbing snuff films, propelling him down into a rabbit hole with deception, mind manipulation, and conspiracy. As he immerses himself further into this twisted reality, he's plagued by powerful hallucinations that obscure the boundaries between what is real and what is imagined. This film was significant as it marked Cronenberg's inaugural collaboration with Universal Pictures, a major Hollywood studio. Videodrome garnered widespread acclaim for its cutting-edge special makeup effects, Cronenberg's skillful direction, and notable performances from Woods and Debbie Harry. Debbie Harry, who played Nikki Brand, even colored her signature blonde hair red for this movie. Additionally, the film's distinctive combination of techno-surrealist imagery and complex psychosexual themes received high praise. Cronenberg's exceptional work earned him the Best Direction Award at the 5th Genie Awards, along with 7 more nominations. Today, Videodrome is cherished as a cult classic and one of his most distinguished contributions to cinema, effectively embodying both body horror and science fiction. The film has endured remarkably well over time. Its unsettling nature has only intensified, making it increasingly alarming for viewers. Its graphic elements leave an indelible mark that can provoke nightmares and evoke lasting discomfort long after viewed. Cabin Fever, 2002. Eli Roth's directorial debut, Cabin Fever released in 2002, and it's an American comedy horror film that launched the Cabin Fever franchise. It centers on college students Paul, Karen, Bert, Marcy, and Jeff as they head for an unfortunate cabin holiday treat. The storyline draws from Roth's own experience of a skin infection while working in Iceland's horse farms. It begins when the group starts suffering from some mysterious and deadly flesh-eating disease wrecking their bodies. Some critics thought the lead actors did an inspiring job, whereas others found them just adequate. But overall, Cabin Fever is considered a pretty intense mix of creepy vibes, gross-out gore, and dark humor that works really well together. Eli Roth faced resistance when gathering funds from production companies for the movie. They told him that neither the concept of Cabin Fever was really hot, nor was horror so profitable, but Roth proved them wrong, paying homage to low-budget horror films and winning praise for his new spin on the genre. Quentin Tarantino even praised it, referring to him as the future of horror. And apparently, Tarantino was right. Cabin Fever is precisely a masterclass in building unease, mixing subtle tension with intensely eerie tones for a truly unsettling horror experience. According to Eli Roth, the prosthetics for the infamous leg shaving scene got ruined in transit. The special effects team had to improvise, applying makeup directly on Serena Vincent's leg and covering it up with shaving cream so the desired gory effect would come off. The film's gory disease was later dubbed the most gruesome movie disease of all time by Total Film magazine in 2013. Raw, 2016. Raw is a 2016 body horror film that follows Justine, portrayed by Garance Marillier, a young vegetarian who begins veterinary school, which sets her on the path towards lusting after meat and finally human flesh. Julia Ducournau is the writer and director of the movie, which explores themes of identity, desire, and the blurring of boundaries. It premiered at Cannes in 2016, garnering acclaim from many for its refreshing storytelling and direction, though some critics found the gore quite disturbing. Julia Ducournau's Raw is a rare treat, a coming-of-age tale that uses visceral and thought-provoking allegory, incorporating lurid violence and sexuality with dense symbolism. Cannibalism becomes a powerful metaphor for exploring themes of identity, sisterhood, and entering new academics through Justine's journey. Raw also delves into the complex relationship between Justine and her older sister Alexia, portrayed by Ella Rumpf, who embodies a more rebellious and feminine persona. Jealousy and tragedy test their bond as Justine is further drawn into Alexia's world. Nevertheless, the many accolades showered upon Raw include eschewing graphic content, which caused some festival attendees to faint, and earned acclaim for audacious storytelling, riveting atmosphere, and thought-provoking themes. The European Film Festival secured the spot as a modern horror classic between these awards. Some interesting bits about the film Raw: the raw chicken Justine eats is in fact sugar, and actress Garance Marillier claims that this made her dislike candy for life. Director Julia Ducournau worked with Marillier to have her change her body and posture throughout the film, which made a significant difference. Due to the film's explicit content, some cinemas even provided custom-made vomit bags for the audience.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself?
The Substance, 2024. Directed by Coralie Fargi, The Substance is a 2024 satirical body horror movie centered on the story of fading Hollywood star Elizabeth Sparkle, portrayed by Demi Moore. She's just been let go from television due to her age and soon finds a mysterious black market drug that promises to reverse her aging. The drug creates a younger version of herself, played by Margaret Qualley, but the resulting side effects are terrifying and unexpected. While Elizabeth's life unravels, she's forced to confront the ugly consequences of her yearning for eternal youth. The visuals in The Substance were largely driven by elaborate prosthetic designs, which made up 70 to 80% of the film's imagery. These designs included disturbingly realistic suits, puppets, and dummies that brought Elizabeth's terrifying transformation to life. Its premiere on the Eclat stage of the 77th Cannes Film Festival saw director Coralie Fargi walk away with the award for Best Screenplay, gained critical acclaim, and became a box office success, grossing $70 million on a $17.5 million budget. It received 5 Golden Globe nominations, 1 for Best Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical. Ray Liotta was supposed to have been a cast member but passed away before filming his scenes. Dennis Quaid replaced him in his part, still credited in the thank you notes in the title credits. Demi Moore, who was also visibly nervous about nude scenes at the time of filming, was helped by the 29-year-old Margaret Qualley. The former also carried out naked scenes during the film's shooting, signifying her commitment to the bit. The film received a long and heavenly standing ovation during the 2024 Cannes Film Festival, which lasted longer than any other feature-length film at the festival. The Brood, 1979. The Brood, a 1979 psychological horror film directed by David Cronenberg, depicts problems surrounding a father's defunct relationship and a mystery shrouded in visits with her mentally ill mother. While her mother is under Hal Raglan's care, a psychotherapist with unorthodox experimental therapy techniques known as psychoplasmics, his therapy might be linked with gruesome murders, along with terrifying surgically altered beings. Released in 1979, The Brood attained commercial success, grossing over $5 million, and has since enjoyed cult popularity with academic interest in its themes of mental illness and motherhood. It was also voted number 88 on the Chicago Film Critics Association's 100 Scariest Movies of All Time. David Cronenberg drew inspiration from his own personal experiences when scripting The Brood. The film was written when David was going through a rough patch of his life, especially after his divorce and stormy battle for child custody against his ex-wife, Margaret Hinson. Cronenberg has also acknowledged that the character of Nola Carveth, played by Samantha Eggar, was partly influenced by his ex-wife's personality. The swarms of children in The Brood are creepy enough to keep you awake at night, but the most haunting part about this movie is probably the ending. Between the crazy birth scene graphic and the main character's twisted interpretation of motherhood, you'll have nightmares for days. Get ready to say goodbye to sleep and make sure you don't eat before, as The Brood isn't for the faint-hearted. Eraserhead, 1977. David Lynch, in the year 1977, presented Eraserhead, a surrealist work and a body horror classic that confronts conventional storytelling and style. Filmed in black and white, Eraserhead follows Henry Spencer, played by Jack Nance, a factory worker who is catapulted into a nightmarish world of fatherhood thanks to his child's awful deformity. The baby seems to drive Henry and his girlfriend to their breaking point with its incessant crying. The haunting atmosphere of Eraserhead, along with its breathless imagery, is guaranteed to generate that haunting sense of chill in its viewers. Eraserhead opened to hostile reviews within Variety that disdained it as a sickening bad taste exercise. However, over time, the film has undergone reassessment and has been repeatedly termed a cult classic. Standing at an impressive 89% on Rotten Tomatoes and hailed by critics for its eerie atmosphere, haunting visuals, and mesmerizing score, the movie's consensus is that David Lynch's surreal magnum opus provides a thoroughly uncomfortable exploration of one man's anxieties about becoming a parent. Reportedly inspired in part by Lynch's own fears and experiences, Eraserhead's script borrows thematically from the birth of his daughter Jennifer, whose ailments, among others, included clubbed feet. Jennifer Lynch has even suggested that her own unexpected conception and congenital disabilities were a starting point for the film. David Lynch has remained tight-lipped about the film's meaning. He prefers to let audiences interpret it for themselves. He's given a few mysterious comments regarding the iconic baby prop that left the viewers with some questions concerning its origins and implications. One of the interesting things about Lynch is that he functioned variously throughout the movie process as the director, writer, producer, and designer of effects. Tetsuo The Iron Man. Tetsuo The Iron Man is a Japanese sci-fi horror film released in 1989. It was written, directed, and produced by Shinya Tsukamoto. The story sets itself about a salaryman who unintentionally kills a metal fetishist, inviting supernatural revenge that slowly but surely metamorphoses him into a grotesque fusion of flesh and metal. His transformation happens gradually, sprouting metal from his body and experiencing disturbing visions. As he turns towards some hybrid of human and machine, he becomes appropriately linked with a victim of a hit-and-run who is undergoing a similar transformation. Tetsuo The Iron Man was, for Shinya Tsukamoto, a play he had written, directed, and performed in college. At that time, he created a theatrical ensemble with like-minded people, including Kei Fujiwara and Tomoro Taguchi, who later cooperated with him on short films. Although beset by production difficulties, including almost total abandonment by the cast and crew, Tsukamoto and Taguchi persevered in completing the film. Because of this, Tetsuo earned the grand prize at Italy's Fanta Festival, quickly gaining acclaim in Japan and becoming a non-mainstream bestseller in the home video market. The film has been criticized in Japan and abroad for its twisted production process, leading to an easy comparison with the works of Sam Raimi, David Cronenberg, and David Lynch. Tetsuo The Iron Man has achieved cult status and even earned critical praise for exceptional originality and efficiency as a sci-fi horror movie. Director Tsukamoto's graphic body horror visuals are magnified by his frenetic pacing, creating a remarkably intense viewing experience that's both repulsive and mesmerizing. Possession, 1981. Possession is a psychological horror drama released in 1981, directed by Andrzej Zulawski, with a screenplay by Frederick Tutin and Andrzej Zulawski. The plot revolves around a marriage in constant turmoil between an international spy, played by Sam Neill, and his wife, played by Isabelle Adjani, who begins to exhibit bizarre and terrifying behavior after requesting a divorce, which takes a dark and supernatural turn. As his wife's behavior escalates into wild iterations, the husband gets a private detective to investigate her mysterious conduct. But the more he learns, the more questions remain. Along with its shocking climax, which will leave one aghast, Possession also has within it a body horror exercise for which one needs a specific mindset for appreciation. It provides tension and suspense, ending in a culminating climactic scene that is as gory as it is revolting. Filmed in West Berlin, Possession was Andrzej Zulawski's first film in English. The film premiered at the 1981 Cannes Film Festival, where the leading actress Isabelle Adjani won the award for Best Actress. The film was inspired by Zulawski's own painful experience of divorce, which heavily influenced his screenplay. Although it failed to succeed commercially initially, it's developed a cult following ever since, becoming increasingly well-received over time. According to film scholar Bartlomiej Pasliak, Possession is one of history's most tantalizing and bone-chilling horror films. The film has deeply marked its leading actress, Isabelle Adjani, who stated that it took her years to recover from playing the role of Anna, assuring that she would never again play such a role. Possession was an international collaboration with a diverse European cast and crew, a Polish director, a lead male actor from New Zealand, German supporting actors, a female lead from France. In My Skin, 2002. Directed and performed by Marina Divan, In My Skin released in 2002 in a harrowing exploration of the descent into insanity of a woman. The movie follows Esther, played by Marina, who leads a successful life. She has a loving boyfriend and a Parisian marketing consultant job, but after a minor party accident, she becomes more and more preoccupied with her own body, spiraling into an obsession with self-mutilation. A warning against the consequences of letting compulsions run wild, it's a mind-opening analysis of how innocuous habits can become downright horrible and lead to dreadful consequences. The movie, In My Skin, was received with critical praise. Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes reported overwhelmingly positive reviews, which commended the film for its unflinching depiction of isolation and dissociation. Critics have compared Marina's movie with Roman Polanski's Repulsion and referred to its daring and unsettling look into the human psyche. The film has also been recognized as one of the best underrated indie films in the 21st century. To mark its 20th anniversary in 2022, In My Skin enjoyed a screen at the Fantasia International Film Festival, sealing its cult status in the body horror genre. Marvelous verdict! Body horror movies are a highly unique and thought-provoking genre that forces one to reevaluate their perceptions of the human body and the horrors that can be inflicted upon it. From the surreal and psychedelic aspects of David Lynch's Eraserhead to Marina Divan's graphic self-mutilation in My Skin, body horror movies push the boundaries of cinematic storytelling and test the effects of our emotional stamina. Even though they may be difficult to watch at times, these films offer a profound and unsettling exploration of the human condition and inspire a refreshed approach to the horror genre that continues to fascinate those who can stomach it.